I'll say this. The version of that song that's on the Live Right Here, Right Now double album, they do a cover of Eagles Fly, I think, on that record. If it's not on the record, it's in the DVD. That's how old we are. No. Hold on, let me empty my colostomy bag and take my Geritol. I'll be back in a moment. No, they
turn it to PBS while he does it. I want to watch my shows.
What was the thing your grandmother used to tell you to yell, like call them up and yell them they're mispronouncing?
Welcome to 2 Shots and a Royalty Check, brought to you by Venmo, Your Money, Your Move, and Liquid Death, Murder Your Thirst. Let's get back into it. Hawaii. Michael. Hawaii. Michael, call PBS.
Call PBS.
And tell them it is Hawaii. Yes, it would be like, first of all, why am I watching PBS at 11 o'clock at my grandparents' house? But I am. Yeah. And she's half a bottle of vodka down. And she's sitting in the kitchen. And, you know, they're my old grandparents, so they had a kitchen table that you sit at and drink at. Yeah. That also had the
rotary telephone.
That's right, kids. That's called a rotary telephone.
Yeah.
And what's so funny about that is that PBS at the time had so if you ever get a chance to use a rotary phone, the thing is that the higher the number, the longer the dial.
Oh yeah.
And so but like PBS was like, I don't know, it was like 303. I don't want to give it away, but it was like probably 555-9999. It was like all last numbers.
They're all nines.
So here's lovely me, and by the way, my therapist and I have gone through all this. But here's me, young, watching my grandma drinking vodka that I had tried to put a bunch of water in.
Yeah.
She knew.
Yeah.
You good alcoholics know. Don't try that, kids. Don't try that. What are we, fucking amateurs here? Come on.
Yeah.
You don't think they know? But so I would fake call PBS. So she would get mad at them. They're showing too many goddamn cheetahs, Michael. Michael. Anyway, she would, and then the Hawaii just pissed her off to no end every time someone would say Hawaii. And so I would fake call PBS to shut her up. So I'd put the phone to my ear, and go through the whole thing. Hi, is this PBS? And like, you know, like I'm talking to somebody. But I had to make it really quick before it went beep, 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 beep.
Let everybody know that
because alcoholics can hear that too.
Well, not if they're alcoholic musicians. They may have lost a little of that in the
That's
Marshall
true.
days.
And she was a pianist. Yeah. Thank you,
I
folks.
beg your
Good
pardon?
night.
She was a piano player. Okay, got it. Understood.
By the way, let's settle that. Are we not doing pianist anymore?
I am fine with pianist. I just think it sounds a lot like penis because I'm 9 inside.
Yes, I'm still 13.
Yeah, so it just, requires
But I mean,
is
that the correct nomenclature?
The correct, I believe so.
Are we still doing that?
Yeah.
Didn't they change flautist on me? Like, you know somebody who plays flutes.
She's told me that it's not flautist, it's actually flutist. And I don't know if you can hear it, but she's doing a duet practice upstairs right now. I just threw up a little in my mouth. I'm sorry. It had nothing to do with the duet practice.
No, let's make sure that's clear.
It has everything to do with the carbonated beverage I consumed moments ago. But yeah, like she's upstairs practicing right now. But she told me it's not flautist, it's flutist. And I'm like, okay. But
can you check with her on whether it ever has been flautist?
I think it has been flautist.
Okay, because I feel like I was going to go into music education thinking it was flautist.
Oh, boy.
I mean, when I was in the program to like go be a music teacher, and you have to learn all that stuff for like orchestras and stuff, and like, I wanted to learn the correct things.
Yeah.
But I'm an old guy, and so like maybe it's changed. Maybe there's a subgroup of people who live in New Zealand that are like, we're flautists, and that's flutists. But pianists, I just think of the Animaniacs too. Thank you, folks. Good night.
It was also the we found Prince. Fingerprints? I don't think so.
I don't think
They've
so.
got Prince, and she's got Prince in her hand. Yeah, that show, even the remake of the last couple of years has been really, really fun too. Just completely irreverent, fantastic animation.
I didn't watch the remake.
It's good.
Is it?
It's all on Hulu. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really fun, and it's the OG voice cast. So you've got your Rob Paulsons and your Maurice LaMarches, and is it Tress MacNeille? That's gonna drive me nuts.
Is it tamed to where they don't do the "Hello, nurse" those kind of lines anymore?
Yeah, it's a little bit tamed from that. Yeah, but so it's a little bit more PC, but it's still really fun. Not as many They Might Be Giants covers this last season. So yeah,
well, that's good.
The season, so they started it back up again in 2020. The end of 2020, and they just had their third season in 2023 for the remake.
Aha,
the re-upping.
nice.
The original was, of course, in 1993 to 1998. So,
yeah,
wow.
I know.
Formative.
I love that, and I love that I have that with like some of my elder millennial friends or millennial friends that love that. And it was like, they're like, why did you, I was in school at the time. That makes sense for me to watch cartoons. Like, what were you doing? I was like, I was sitting in my apartment smoking weed. Watching
Yeah.
We were doing the same thing. Same thing, dude.
You think you want to know how
They're
I know
like,
today?
not same thing. I was in 6th grade. I'm like, it's same thing.
Same thing. That's how I know all of the the countries. Is thanks to Animaniacs. I love that show. And that cover, the reason I became a They Might Be Giants fan is because Particle Man and their cover of Istanbul, not Constantinople, in that used and animated these videos too. Those are the two I remember, but Particle Man in particular. I remember.
I'm like, my God, Istanbul, not Constantinople. Oh, such a bitch.
That went
sorry.
well.
Not Constantinople?
Istanbul?
Wasn't that like originally Falcon?
Something like that. It was
Falco? Wasn't he the guy that did the whole...
No, that was Rock Me Amadeus.
Yeah.
I don't think... Okay, let's take a look here.
Oh, yeah, now we're going to have to find it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
By the
Cover
way,
versions.
we are again down... We are down a Kelsey today because there is a huge Nuggets parade happening.
She's going to be hungover again tomorrow.
Yes, and that's okay. That's okay. We're not... Look, we're a nice company here. You get all the personal time you want. You want to go drink with Jokic. That's great.
I understand.
By the way, that motherfucker, he is just dying to get out of town.
Yeah. He's like, leave me alone.
Yeah, are you so happy about winning a championship and the parade's coming up? And he's like, what? I thought I'd be going home tomorrow with my horses. Yeah. And then he looked off the mic, was like, when's the parade? They're like, Thursday. And he's like, visibly, he grabbed his head, was like, oh, I got to stay here 2 more days.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, from a labor perspective, you do not get paid for the parade.
No.
No, but he had to go.
Yeah, it's in his contract. I'd like to say that Nat Simon did the original 1953 version of that. Lyrics by Jimmy Kennedy and music by Nat Simon. It was written on the 500th anniversary of the fall of Constantinople to the Ottomans. The song's original release performed by the Four Lads, was certified as a gold record. Right. Then there was Frankie Vaughan did a cover. Colonel Joy's Joy Boys. Man, if that is not an all-male nude review at this point in time.
Colonel Joy's Joy Boys.
Joy Boys.
Woo, that's a hard one to say. By the way, the first Joy in that has an E.
Yes, it does. And
as if that's not bad enough, tell us the next one.
The Big Muffin Serious Band. And then, of course, They Might Be...
Which, of course, we know the pedal, Big Muff, was named after the Big Muffin Serious Band.
Yeah.
I also like that the Big Muffin, like they came... By the way, that's a New Zealand band. I love that they were called the Big Muffin, probably, and they're like, you guys, we play serious music, and we need to call it a serious band. And so they came up with a Big Muffin serious band so that they can't be confused with all the other Big Muffin.
The Big Muffin joke band?
Yeah, don't take us as a joke, mate.
Yeah, the Big Muffin Wackadoodle band.
Holy shit, that was in 1987. That wasn't...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a long time ago.
What was the record called? It was Jabberwocky Goes to Town. Was the record it was on? Yeah. We are reading this, folks, so this is not made up. Thank you, Wikipedia.
This. By the way, I've always thought Jabberwocky was a sexual position.
It is.
Is it? Okay, good.
If you do it right.
That's right. Holy shit, keep going. Then the most famous version.
They might be giants, of course.
And as it turns out, they are.
Yeah.
So I mean that's settled. That's settled canon now. They might be turned into they pretty much are.
I don't see. Is there another version of it after the? Oh, okay. Sorry, there is.
Yes, can I name this one?
Yes, you can.
So a lot of people back in the 90s, you don't know of this guy, but his name was John Cicada, and he came from a group called the Cicados.
Did he really?
No, that's not true at all.
Okay, I was like, fuck, you had me there.
I just made it up. Yeah, it's an Argentine synth pop trio called the Cicados. The Cicados. This is from the debut album, Te Pido Es Respada. I may have gotten that wrong.
Wow, we're just fucking offending everybody with your terrible Spanish.
Español de mal.
Español, yeah. Te pido respeto.
Pido respeto.
Please add us and correct us on our pronunciation
Absolutely,
of this.
please.
We just
now we're going to chart in Spain or in Argentina.
What time did you get up and walk into cat puke this morning?
Yes. Always. Yeah. I haven't slept in a few days.
Oh,
It's been crazy downtown. It's like living in Beirut here right now. It's just,
Jesus.
There's just sorry to all my Lebanese friends, but it's been a little rough here. It's downtown. It's fireworks and sirens going off all the time. This parade thing is madness, and it's all lovely. Celebrating yet another championship in Denver.
Yeah.
It's great.
It was a hell of a game, too. I'd like to point out that during the 2000s, Istanbul, not Constantinople, was performed live by the Australian klezmer gypsy jazz band Monsieur Camembert.
Oh, my God.
Appearing on the album Live on Stage. I am going to go down a Monsieur Camembert rabbit hole immediately following this recording.
I think culturally I do too.
Yeah.
Because we had a little problem with Gypsy in a former podcast. Not we. I had a problem. I said something. But also, do you know that klezmer is basically shorthand for Jewish?
I did know this.
Yes. So by the way, all you composers out there, you get a brief that says they want like a Hebrew, Abrahamic, Jewish kind of song from the Middle East, that sort of thing. If they want that, go and search your instrumentations and just start with klezmer, and that'll get you damn close. That'll get you damn close.
Start with clarinet.
Yeah. And you just go, klezmer, and then just rip off Hava Nagila over and over and over, basically.
I did tell you the story about the I played a Jewish wedding. I played the band I'm in, Mazel, indeed. The band leader in that band, if there's a song he doesn't particularly want to learn, he'll pass it off on me. And so it was this. We had to do the hora that night, and I was tasked with singing it. And so, I remember, I know this is important, especially for the culture. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to find the most Hebrew version of this possible, and I'm really going to try and nail the pronunciation and get everything in this song right, because it's important. And I felt like I wanted to respect this. And, so we start off super slow. And I am running this band like a clock, like here we go. We're starting like here. I am stomping the tempo on the front. Hammer's like, gets going. And we get to fucking the end of it, and we do the big ending. And because I know at this point to do it so long that there are people that have to sit down.
Yep. That's when you know.
That's when you see people starting to, leave the dance floor and they need to sit or they need to get a drink, that's time to end it.
When there's no one left to carry the chair around.
You keep it fucking going until they're like, just need a moment here. Like, so it was 10 minutes of this shit. And, we get done with it, and there's a bunch of shit getting thrown, smashed, all of us. Fucking great time. And we take our set break, and I'm walking off to the restroom, and this small, petite, little older Jewish lady walks up to me and said, "Your pronunciation was magnificent. I know you're not one of us, but when the end times come, you stick close to me, kid." Whoa, and I was like, "You are the fucking cutest." Yeah, from Manana. I was like, I'm honored by your presence. But yeah, I was like, yes, exactly what I wanted.
Very nice job out there. You've got an invitation to the chosen.
I'm feeling special now. Okay,
should.
so I believe we've been down enough rabbit holes to piss Kelsey off.
I played it at a wedding once, and I had an older guy come up to me, and he's like, "My God, you all played that longer than we were in the desert." I was like, I'm putting that in a script, in a movie, in something somewhere.
Yeah. You all played that longer than we were in the desert. That is magnificent.
Classic. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I think Kelsey's, let's be fair. We did keep our bullshit to under 20 minutes today.
We did.
We are sub 20 minutes on the bullshit. So
sub 20. She's gonna come back and be like, "What?" Like, and then we're gonna roll out another 2-hour one or something. But
it's like a tight 48 minutes.
Yeah, maybe you just shouldn't be here. Maybe it's you, Kelsey. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe all the yelling is really driving us to just we do have a bit of punk rock in us, so
that's true.
If you start telling us to do something, we're like, "Oi, fuck off!"
That's right. Maybe you should tell us not to do.
Yeah, will you guys go ahead and give me the longest rant possible?
Totally. Do you want to get to a question, or you want to get?
No, I want to. I saw this article this week too that we were going to talk about with regards, because we've made kind of a stink on this podcast about how we believe that music should have a degree of sex, drugs, and rock and roll to it, right?
More me than you, but yes.
Well, but there's something to be said for, music. Everybody has a soundtrack in the bedroom. Everybody, when you're at a fucking party, there's music playing. If you're smoking weed, there's music playing. Most of my metal bands have been on hold on shows for the Drug Den show, the suck shot in the show. So there's something to be said for music and a little bit of chemical and physical alteration, shall we say. But you sent me this article that said that Gen Z is drinking less and less, and is that bad for music venues? And then we had a whole conversation about how do the music venues, because music venues really haven't evolved with the times. I mean, we had COVID protocols, we had all this stuff, but essentially you still get your fucking ticket, you walk in the door, you get your wristband, you go to the bar, you get a beer, and you stand in the front and you wait for the fucking band to come on. Well, the new generation of kids is not going to the bar first.
No.
So the venues now, after 70, 80 years of, making you go to the bar and that's where they make their money, are now having to evolve, and everybody's losing their minds a little bit.
Yeah, and the article actually was, went a little bit further. It said it is hurting music venues. My question is it really? If you dig into the study a little bit more, I'd say it's like 25% less sales, which, we know bar and venue owners, those margins are tight. That's where they make all their money, is on making alcoholic drinks or selling beer at a upsell. And so that 25% can hurt you, and that is important. And because, contrary to what so many musicians believe, bars are not there to promote music.
How many times have we said this? Preach the word.
It was like, well, I just think that a bar would like us to be there and entertain their crowd. I'm like, the bar is there to sell drinks.
Yep.
And you are there to sell drinks. Like
Yeah.
the bartender
A few
is
weeks
there to
ago-
sell drinks.
A few weeks ago, I was at a show in Denver that was, it was at a venue that a friend of ours owns. It's not the large one with the neon sign. It's another venue.
Yes.
And there was an all ages show there. Our friend had her daughter's birthday party was at this fucking rock and roll venue that I've seen a variety of bands played at over the years. And it was mostly, I think I sent you some videos from this show. It was the
it was
Blue
hot.
Radio show at Globe Hall.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of like teenagers like jumping up and down, bouncing, having a crazy, crazy time, having a great time. And the parents, there was, like, I'm of the parents' age.
Right.
I'm meeting, oh, hello, this is my father. Oh, hello, father. How are you? I'm the producer of their record.
He's the producer. Yeah.
Is he a creeper? I don't know what producer means. And it was, the drinks were, I paid $10 for a Montucky cold snack. And I think I paid a little bit more for another fancy bougie beer or something like that. It was like $12 for a beer. It was, Fillmore Auditorium prices here.
Yeah.
But I also was like, I know that they are not selling a lot of cocktails tonight. I mean, they do have a barbecue there. They do have some really good food there as well. But they're not selling as many alcoholic beverages, which is really where they make their money. And it used to be you could walk up to the bar and you'd be like, hi, can I get a water? Can I get a Coke? And all this kind of stuff. And that would be gratis because the amount of alcohol that was being sold.
Right.
But now you got a show where there's 316 to 19-year-olds in the room. They made their money, a little bit of money on the ticket sales because it was a $20 ticket sale for a smaller venue. And then the Cokes were $6.
6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because there's like it's kind of a little known thing because it's a volume deal, but like you make so much margin on Cokes, on sodas, whatever, because it is still 2 to 4 cents per pour.
Yeah.
And so if it's $1, if it's $2, but like it does, like the pricing doesn't really go up on that. I'm not talking about like a can of Coke. I mean, out of the gun.
Yeah.
So like pre-mixed stuff.
The syrup blend.
Yeah, there's not that much on that for the CO2 and the syrup, and it's a lot of that price that's being thrown to you in a store or whatever is like basically from the aluminum, the packaging, and the car, and carrying it to the store and putting it on the shelf. But like bars can make a lot of good money on the Coke stuff. It's just you got to have someone buy 10 of them. That's probably not a good idea for a 16-year-old or a 40-year-old or whoever.
Yeah.
But so to get to this study, it is assumed, not just assumed, as part of the survey. When I say study, there's a survey, and they were talking to Gen Z, to sort of this age group that is like the most prevalent, going to clubs and going to music venues. That's what age you always go out every Friday, every Saturday, blah, blah, blah. And what's happening, the reason why they're drinking less is one, there is, God, I love this generation, by the way. There's just more thought being put into alcohol as a poison, as maybe not something we should do all the time. Yeah. Just being more thoughtful about it. Doesn't mean... maybe you consider it like a soda pop or like Coke or whatever. It's like, maybe just don't have 4 of them a day. Maybe, maybe that's something you do on the weekends or on a special thing every now and then. But a lot of these people are choosing weed. They're choosing gummies. Yeah. And so they show up to the venue and get out of their Uber or Lyft and that's right when the gummy's hitting, and you can bring it with you, and no one really knows. And some people bring joints and go out in the back patio or whatever. Yeah. It's just a different kind of thing, partially because they have seen generations ahead of them, and our people that, especially women, that there can be problems when there's so much alcohol at dirty, dingy clubs, and that may not be the best choice for people to be partaking in because it leads to some violence. It leads to guys, going out of control. Sometimes I've heard from younger women, it's like, look, I just want to be more aware of my surroundings. Yeah.
If I don't drink this, I'm not likely to get roofied.
Yeah. And the thing is it's not necessarily that some of this generation doesn't drink as much. They just don't drink as much in public.
Yeah.
They'll have private parties at home or whatever at their friend's house,
Yeah.
and they'll still do cocktails or, drinks, the whatever. But that's a problem at clubs, because also then it also becomes, and this is a horrible part of society, but it becomes this idea of like, okay, well, so something happened to you and you're telling us, how drunk were you?
Yeah.
And that's a horrible situation for every woman to be in.
Yeah. Agreed.
You take that out of the equation. You're like, I didn't have a damn thing. No, I was drinking water. I was drinking tea or whatever, and you don't have to deal with that side of things. So I think it's a little complicated, but what we were talking about is that clubs should, embrace this. Embrace that 25 or 30% and cater to them. And so here are some of the ideas that I had come up with, and this is all nothing new. It's not like I'm the only one to do this, but one, you should, as a venue, as a club, as a band, be supportive of public usage of weed or of mushrooms or whatever the thing is. Okay.
Yeah.
Try to advocate for a usage area for vaping or for, joints or kind of hookah stuff, so that people feel comfortable not drinking, but going to the show and doing what they want to do. Obviously, this is in states and locations where it's legal. But there is a movement to add public usage. When I say public usage, just think weed and mushrooms. But when I say that, to add a public usage area and that part of the license to basically your ABC or your cabaret license, which is what gives you the license to be able to sell alcohol. And it's called an adult use license that they want to sort of put in. Cities are way behind on this still, but it takes clubs to do that. It takes venues to do that, to advocate for that as part of a way to help your business, help your customers, and it helps the world. So that's number one. But what you can do right now, come up with some cool non-alcoholic drinks that you can charge $6 for.
Yeah.
Do your Arnold Palmer kind of things, or, have your bartenders figure out what you got in juices and in spritzers and in all that sort of thing that doesn't have alcohol. And I'm not saying like, don't do like just, a lemon drop and make it, and call it a lemon drop and just
Version
not put the
lemon
vodka
drop.
in it. But like come up with something cool, and maybe bands can be a part of that. I also think that bands should be crushing water on stage. And if you listen to this podcast, you want to be crushing...
mean some liquid death?
That's right.
Murder.
There's also a big movement on these free water things where you can give out water because the ads are printed on the aluminum of the cans.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
And I think more bands should take a part of that. That's something I want to do a whole podcast on, because I think that there's movement in there to where it doesn't take away from the bar. Like bars aren't really selling water. They have the igloo thing there with the plastic cups sometimes. But you could do it to where you could kind of sell ads locally. You could get into a partnership. But like bands have a part in this. That doesn't mean you don't do shots on stage or whatever if that's what your band does. You could still do that, but maybe order a round of the volcanoes. Okay, so we order around the volcanoes. Everybody's like, what the hell is that? Well, it's basically like a cinnamon and seltzer water shot. And you created that with the bartender, and you call it a volcano, and then other people order the volcanoes, and they know it's non-alcoholic, and hey, boom, the band does a little shot for everybody, and you can promote it. So there's a way bands can help this situation. And there's a way that venues can absolutely help this situation.
Yeah. Can I put a pause on this so I can go use the restroom real quick?
Yeah.
I'm a terrible podcaster. Terrible.
Keep it running.
BRB. Huh?
Keep your
I'm gonna keep
recording
it
running.
Don't tell me what to do.
Shut up. Go pee.
Hi, how are you? How you doing?
Hello.
Oh, I didn't know if you could hear me. To jump right back into the fray, I think that to a certain extent, it's always been incumbent upon local businesses to push things like this forward. I think that the marketplace, for this kind of stuff has always driven, progress and change. Hey, you know what? The people are asking for this. We need to make it happen because it's going to happen at our level before it's going to happen at a higher, maybe state and federal level, whatever, So I think it's definitely incumbent upon those businesses to start taking into account that, as you said, would you say 25 to 30% of their patrons now are not consuming alcohol? And what that also does is, like, if you're not, reliant completely on alcohol sales, doesn't that mean you can start catering to having an afternoon all ages show? You can have an additional, timetable where there's no alcohol served whatsoever. You guys come in and blow your tits out, having a great time at the bar, and without having it be a bar necessarily or venue or whatever. Like, there's ways to manage this to make it really work well. I mean, we've talked often about how I want the show done by 9. I'm watching Matlock, and by 9:30,
that's right.
I'm in bed by 10.
Give me 9 o'clock headliners.
9 o'clock headliners. That's something I've also talked to artists about a lot of time, is like, who's your crowd? If your crowd is over a certain age, make sure you're going on stage at 9 o'clock at night or 8:30 and being done by 10.
We
Perfect.
used to, and even back in the day, we would notice that because we had some people who were, I think I've mentioned this before, but we had just a whole lot of naughty mommies, which was like this whole group of women who were, this is their one night out away from their kids, and they're going to blow it out like they did back in the day. But they still got to get up tomorrow and go in the pickoff line and the drop off line and, soccer practice and stuff. And so even when we got major headline sets, which are traditionally 11 o'clock, whatever, somewhere around there, we would tell the other bands, we would just be like, no, why don't you do that? You go ahead and you do that one. And they'd be like, oh my God, I got the headlining slot. And, little did they know, we got the bar's empty slot where the bar was completely packed and nobody had left. Everyone was still piling in for the late night crowd. And it was great. Yeah. I agree with you. I think that you should cater to it. I also think that there's a way where bars can fight back against this. Look, get into selling joints or gummies.
Yeah.
Like, who's to say that I can't walk into the bar, get my wristband, show my ID, here's my ticket, here's my thing, and walk over to the right side where there's basically like a little mini dispensary. And obviously in the beginning, because there's a lot of rules and laws about this, you need to partner with a licensed dispensary or something. And you don't have to have everything in the world, just a few kinds of joints, maybe just a few kinds of gummies or some tinctures or whatever. Yeah. But why not get that $25 sale for the bar?
Yeah.
If you're going to be missing out on the $10 drink, there's a way to do it.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's a whole fuckload of cigar bars out there.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like their entire brand is smoke and drink, right? Why is this not? I mean, I understand don't smoke a joint inside thing. You have to take this fucker outside. You can't smoke it. If you want to do the gummies in here, that's fine, but you stand on this side of the fence and don't go anywhere near the other side. Or whatever. I don't know what the rules should be, but I'm not a professional person in this capacity.
No.
But it's already being done with other substances besides alcohol. So why is it not happening with regards to, I know in Colorado we're fairly progressive when it comes to this stuff. I don't know. You tell me, has psilocybin been decriminalized or is it legal here? Because those are two different things.
Well, it was decriminalized and then it was made legal, but there is no licensing regime to sell it. And I was kind of a part of the weed thing here, and so I could speak to this a little bit. But there is normally this long licensing phase of like, okay, well, how does it get sourced? How does it get stored? How does it get moved? All of this kind of stuff that you have to go through to allow for the retail sale of it.
Yeah.
But like right now, it's being used a lot more in like research, and doctors can help get patients into programs using it, which before that was like a federal offense and a state offense. So, I mean, we're moving in the right direction, and you know, and that sort of, there's a lot of people that are doing microdosing and stuff, but no, you can't just walk into somewhere and buy mushrooms right now still, but you also can't be busted for them. Which is good. That's kind of the way it should be, no matter what it is, in my opinion. But I do think that, like, you know, like you said, you can be progressive on this and be also brutally capitalist. You know? Like,
of course. Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
No, in fact, I think they're the same thing. Like, if you, like, let's let people do what they want to do. Criminalize the bad activity, but don't criminalize what you think leads to it. Yeah. And, you know, so if someone gets violent, that's the problem. It's not the stuff before that. Like, we don't take away everyone's bar license. We don't fire everyone because one drunk got out of control. There are some laws about over-serving and all of that. But they're tenuous at best to prove that. Like how a bartender could know that guy didn't get drinks from anyone else in the night, and then he got violent and drove away. But there are ways to where we can manage this as a, by the way, all of this is adult use. Don't come at me with children. Children shouldn't use this. Teens shouldn't use this. You know, this is a 21 and over kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, let's figure out a way to make it work for everybody. Make it work for the bar. Make it work for the, by the way, all this can be taxed. You want to put a little tax on it? That's fine. The bars are already paying their taxes. So, I mean, and there we get into sort of the libertarian, like, here we go with the damn tax. Okay, it doesn't have to be taxed, but there are ways to do it. And I also think, looking at this study, I looked into it a little bit more the next day. It ain't just Gen Z. Yeah. Like, that doesn't account for all of it. I think that there are a lot of people across all age groups that are drinking less in public. Yeah. I know that I'm one of them. I'm one of them. I absolutely am. And I mean, I drink so much less than I did before, but but especially in public, part of it's a pricing mechanism. Sure. Yeah. They've priced me out of the market. I'm like, okay, well, it's $50 if I want a few beers. But I'll make that decision when I can make that decision, if that's part of my night. Tomorrow, that's part of my night. Yeah. I think that's part of it, though. Like, my relationship with alcohol and any type of chemical alteration, shall we say, has changed in I'm at the end of my life. These are my twilight years. Right, fuck it, I'm out. You know, no, like, it has changed because it's no longer about, like, I'm not trying to get smashed anymore. I don't getting drunk holds no appeal for me. No, and it's by itself. Like, if I'm enjoying some cocktails and we all get a little buzzed and relaxed and are enjoying the company of other people, that's different. But the experience is not to plow through as much Jägermeister as possible to get to the place where I feel comfortable with myself anymore. True. It's no longer a mechanism for me to hide from my demons. That's by ingesting more demons. The Exorcist was wrong. So, like, I think that's true. And, and I think as Gen Z and the younger generation have seen their parents or their like adult, figures change their relationship with alcohol, it has brought them in a different place. Because from the conversation we had at the beginning of this podcast, where you talk about your grandmother's relationship with alcohol. Yeah. Like, and that probably affected, an alcoholic too. Yeah, so that affects your relationship with alcohol. Yeah, and I had to think hard and fast about it, like, from the genetic standpoint. Yeah, I was 22 and I took a year off of drinking just to make, like, a self check, you know, and that's one of those things. And my mom entered a program; she entered AA. Unfortunately, my grandma did not make it out. And but that's that's that generation. I mean, a lot of people, they're coming through wars and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had highballs at the end of the night to not hear the bombs in their head.
Yeah.
You know?
It totally makes sense. But also, like, I think that the mental health conversation has changed people's relationships.
Yeah. Self-medicating
with these things, with self-medicating, for sure. And that's what we're seeing that in the marketplace now as venue patrons and consumers.
And yet, the flip side of that is there are more alcohol offerings than ever, right? Like, back in the day, it was a news story when Zima came out. Oh, my God, it's changed the game.
How did you read my mind? That was the name. It was just, I mean, literally, it's like I broadcast it on my forehead.
It's a trope.
Zima.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But, now you have, the hard seltzers, you have ready-to-drink things, you have... and if you're in anywhere that's like Colorado, I mean, we have the most amount of microbrews per capita, and that includes Germany. Like, we make the most beer of anyone in the world. The Great Beer American Festival is here.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, but like, God, some of those things, you get into the IPAs and you're talking about
Not a fan of the
12,
IPA.
14% alcohol. Like, you can't knock down a 12-pack of those and like expect to do anything.
Well, I don't think those beers are designed for you to knock back a 12-pack.
No, they're really
designed. Your dad's not sitting in his easy chair that's like frayed on the corners from the cat clawing at it and knocking back a 12-pack of D's nuts. That's one of my favorite beers, by the way. I don't remember who makes it. I can hear my friend Chris yelling at me. This brewery. It's called D's Nuts, and it's a Nutella beer.
Oh wow!
And it is fucking delicious. He also got me a growler.
Yeah.
Of it was a Samoa, like a Girl Scout Samoa beer from some brewery. That it doesn't sound good, but it was like fucking dessert with alcohol in it, and it was amazing. But again, I'm not drinking that and going, I'm getting fucking plowed on this thing,
Any of those things I have, I'm like, this is good for one.
Yeah.
Like two of them, you're like, you start tasting the flavoring, you're like, that's not real strawberry.
Those aren't real strawberries.
And I know people that like ciders and, gluten-free ciders and stuff out there. And
a nice
some of
Warren
those
Dickens cider.
Oh my God, those apple crisp ones. Jesus.
Sorry, that was a terrible joke.
No, that's funny. I like it. I just think that, and this is not to say, hey, look, there's some people that listen to this and still like to get loaded on beer and still like to do a bunch of shots and do that sort of thing. This is when you should do it. But you'll get to the point to where you have something to do and you'll be like, it's not worth feeling that way tomorrow.
I got to get up and feed the baby in 2 hours.
I was just horrible because I did not get hangovers.
Yeah.
And I could drink like an all-star and get up and do the things, and it was not a problem. And that, of course, is probably the alcoholism in me. That was like, that's kind of what leads you down that road. There is no downside. There is no, whoa, buddy, whoa, you got to go into work and be like, I'm at work. What are we doing today?
Yeah. There really, I mean, as a musician, there's not really another job. We think we've talked about this before, where you are a party leader, and the party often involves alcohol, and you get handed 10, 15 shots a night.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that there got to a point when I was doing those gigs where I had to find a way to pretend to take the shot and then put it behind my amp or something like that. And I worked with some people who did not have a vessel for that.
No.
They would do all of the shots, and then it would be a fucking mess afterwards.
Yeah.
But like it's a rare job where, unless you're a brewmeister or a distiller, where consumption of alcohol is part of the job, right? I don't.
Daytime,
I mean, like
nighttime.
Yeah. And I don't do it often, but when like I'm on stage and I have a drink, I will have a drink. And the nice thing about the Liquid Death cans is they look like a beer can.
That's right.
Beer can.
Murder your thirst.
And so I usually I've started having one of those on stage next to me because it looks like I have a beer can.
Yeah.
And
it feels like mango one when you slam it.
The mango ones are the best. Such good stuff. Are they ever going to send you a case of the lime water? Because it's quite delicious.
This is the hope. We're going to get a
This
bunch
is
of
the hope?
cases.
Okay.
It's going to happen when we go to video. They want to see it on video.
Okay. Well, but I mean, I can take a screenshot of it right now with me holding the can.
Ooh, screenshot. How 90s. No, I'm just kidding.
1900s.
It's not a vertical?
1980.
Totally.
No, yeah, it's not a vertical. How dare you? I mean, that's been nice for me as an artist to actually have this, I can still lead the party and look like I'm leading the party, but I get to take care of myself. And I think I think I've told you, my brand is selfishness. I'm all about taking care of yourself and making sure that you are taken care of, because you can't take care of anybody if you're not taking care of yourself. So take care of yourself first. And this is all part of my regime of taking care of myself is I don't drink as much.
No, I don't either. But I also don't want to be that guy, right? Like I don't want to tell you what you should do or what's right or what's best for your career or for music or whatever. If it gets in the way of meetings, if it gets in the way of rehearsal, if it gets in the way of your playing, that's a problem. If it doesn't and you drink far more than everyone else around you, okay, that's okay. Yeah. That's on you. That's why we do this. That's why you're not an accountant.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of open-minded about that. I know that that's my brand. It's like, get fucked up and screw each other. But I just listen. There's limits to everything. You're gonna go through seasons of your life of different kind of drinking. You will get to the point where you're like, you know what? I'm sort of a G&T guy, or a G&T gal. Like I like a cocktail now. I mean, look, in my band, we had a song about about a drink we created called a ginger whale. That was, and it was, so we created this thing that was like Verner's ginger ale with Whaler's rum.
Very good. Oh, no.
Yeah. How's that?
Sounds horrifying.
But seriously, one or two of them.
Yeah, you were done.
You felt great. But there's so much
I bet it tasted like a Jolly
sugar
Rancher.
in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It could have just as easily been a daiquiri, but
Yeah.
But it's like rum and Coke, but you just make it with Verner's. But by the way, if you want a ginger whale, that's how you make it. There's a little twist to it at the end, but we would have a song about that. And we played that on stage, and we could sell Whaler's rum in any bar we wanted to.
Very nice.
And then Sailor Jerry's was happening.
Yeah.
But I mean, part of our whole thing was we were a party band and we got kind of, roped in with alcohol things. We had a whole song about
we had that too.
Denver Joe, where I slam a beer every night in one take. And there were things like that. And we were very much a Jaeger band and very much a tequila band at one point.
God.
And it just changed.
Yeah, the Jaeger days, man. Oh.
Yeah. But in the
Jaeger
background,
bombs.
we were having, we would get 18 pack of Keystone Lights for the band, just so we can drive to the hotel. You
like some Natty
you're
Light.
Thirsty after the show, you got to have a little something.
Yeah. Give me a Coors.
I mean, we were legendary drinkers. We really were, and we all sort of made it out, which is good.
Yeah.
Look, so much so we used to do this thing. It started at. Oh my God! I think I remember the name of the bar. Jose Muldoon's.
Oh my God! Yep, Jose Muldoon's in Colorado Springs, right?
Another bar in the proud tradition of a Mexican restaurant with an Irish name. I don't know where that happened, but I've played like 40 of them.
Yeah,
just like O'Shamus Gonzalez or something, like just weird fucking places like that. And then you go in and it's all da 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 da. They're selling like tequila and nachos and stuff. And you're like, okay, where does the Muldoons come from here? But anyway, we used to do this.
Because the tequila's made with whiskey.
There you go. That's everybody knows whiskey comes from the agave plant. That is not true.
Kelsey. Oh, she's not here. Damn it.
But we used to have this bet about doing, it was called a mat shot. And so at the end of the night, after
the bar chum.
On the bar mat where they would pour all the drinks, all of the alcohol that spills over goes into this little mat, the thing that has little cleats on it or whatever.
Yeah.
And So you'd make like a bet, and you'd go up to the bar, and the bartender would pull it up and then do it like a slide into your mouth. And you would drink all of the alcohol that was in that. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing we were doing. I'm sure bands still do this kind of crazy stuff. But so I certainly don't want to be a hypocrite and say, you guys should be more straight edge.
No.
Just keep
I don't think that's what you said, though.
Just keep a governor on it.
Yeah. I don't think you said that this is a thing that this is not a judgment call on anybody else. No. I think that what this is we've had a conversation about where we think things are going to and where things are for us personally. So, but by all means, if you're, living a life and you're enjoying yourself and you're having a good time and you're not fucking hurting anybody or yourself, really.
Right.
Who am I to say anything about it?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And it's also something to where I think that we want to be really clear about being accepting and inclusive. And that does include you drunks too. Like I'm accepting and inclusive of the people who are choosing away from that and being like, I would like to see more sober shows. I would like to see more moderate shows. I would like to see bands doing less promotion of alcohol. I'm inclusive of that. But I'm also inclusive of the young punk or rock band, from Manchester that is like, no, we like to put them back. And our fans do too. That's okay. It's just, I think that we are in a place now in the music industry and in cultural in general to where it's more acceptable to be wide-eyed and thinking about this, to be, it's not on accident. It's not like, oh, wow, that got away from me because I never thought about it. I never thought we should drink or don't drink or do drugs or smoke weed or whatever. I think everyone is thinking about it. And this study sort of shows that that's it's playing a part. Now, is it portending of like the future? Like, will this 25 become 35%, 40%? I don't know. I mean, alcohol's been pretty strong in the world forever. I don't think it's going to go away forever.
It's a sign that God loves you. Is the
but like whatever that percentage is, just know it's a real issue, and your band needs to pay attention to that. That's your workplace, bars and venues,
your workplace.
And so don't be blind to it, and understand that your fans are their customers. And so you have a place in that.
Very true. I love that. I think it's, again, this is all a conversation about paying attention to where you make your living.
Yes. Be
and
mindful.
How can you win? Like all the things we talk about are all about these things, all about, ways for you to make a living in music. And this is something that's happening in the marketplace that you are currently generating revenue in, and you should be paying attention to it and looking for solutions to make sure that your band stands out and wins in this environment.
Exactly.
Or your project.
And probably in a bigger fashion is to make sure that you are seen as a band, as a front person, as a musician that your fans can identify with, so that like you don't seem out of touch with them. If you at least know this is going on, if you kind of at least understand it, like now you can mention that in your email newsletter. Find different ways for you to connect with fans about this. Ask your fans, do you want us to do a sober show? Do you want us to create one of these kind of drinks or whatever? See if your fans are the kind of fans that are like, yeah, we're more gummy oriented. That would be nice. Well, you're going to get more people to come out to your show. Like there is a business side to this.
Yeah, for sure.
And it helps you in a lot of ways. All right. So let's get to Sync of the Week. Oh, Kelsey, you're going to be so happy. Look at us getting into this. We're still going to be in an hour, but so Sync of the Week. My Sync of the Week is for advertisement. An advertisement. So this is for Haggar.
The slacks?
Yes, the slacks. I know. I saw a commercial, which is so weird because I watch all streaming, but I did see a commercial. And
were you watching the NBA Finals?
Yes,
is that where you saw it?
I was.
Oh.
And the song placement is so good. It's called Feels Good to Be Me by a band called Hello Hello. Hello Hello. I want you to look up this song eventually because this is what we call in the industry sync bait.
Whoa.
When I hear a song like this, some of us talk back and forth. We're like, that is sync bait. There are oohs, there are ahs, there are hand claps, it is rising, it is going down. It is a song that makes you feel so good. It's a song that wants you, what is aspirational. And it's in a Slack ad. It's in an ad about slacks, trousers, if you will. And it's called Feels Good to Be Me. And even the ad campaign is named after the song. So I want to say it's Position Music is the sync agency. Position Music does a lot of placements, and they're a great company. If you're ready, if you're very good, if you are very good, you should reach out to them. If you are not, you should not reach out to them. They will leave you on red for a long time if you don't have a great song. But advertising, you guys. This is where, by the way, Hello,
guys.
Not the hugest band in the world. They don't have a big major hit. It's not some big thing like that. This is where you can make it in sync. If your song stands on its own, it's not about the band, it's about the product. And so this makes sense. Go search it out. Haggar, Feels Good to Be Me, by a band called Hello, Hello.
Nice. That is a solid choice. That's a solid choice. I'm going to look that up. I have not heard the song yet.
Yeah,
but,
and when you hear it, you'll be like, oh shit, sync bait.
Sync bait. Okay, so I to preface my tale of woe here. It's not a tale of woe. This is just a quick sidebar question before I get to my sync of the week. I pause my streaming services. I don't have them all on all the time because I'm just like, I'm not watching Netflix right now. Put it on pause for 3 months. I'm not watching Hulu right now. Put it on pause for 3 months. And then it's like, oh yeah, I want to watch that show. I'll turn it back on.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
That's great.
I just don't.
So
I'm like, why am I spending? I don't know. I go buy some weed gummies.
Yeah, there you go.
You know. So I turned my Hulu back on and I caught up on The Rookie, the Nathan Fillion vehicle that is a really fun LA cop show. It's entertaining, mindless, and dumb. And I finally caught up on the last few episodes. And in the season finale, there was a big old fight scene between everybody, and they played Mountain Song by Jane's Addiction during this scene. Like this full on melee and, coming down the mountain. I was like, and so of course, Jane's Addiction holds a very, very special place in my black and rock and roll heart.
Yes.
What a fucking fascinating band and what great fucking rock tunes. Anyway, but it was just this really great, again, it's not, for me, this kind of thing is not just about okay, so the scene is great, the song is great, and together they're amazing. That song, one of my favorite covers of it was by a Denver band called Rexway.
Yes.
Our buddy Mike Mitchell used to cover it with his band, Susan Phelan playing bass, and Doctor on the guitars, and all that kind of fun stuff. And so it just has a really special place in my heart, that particular song. Seeing my friends play it, and I love that band, and to have it come up in 2023 on a TV show during a full on crazy fight scene was just really fun. It's the same reason the song you liked in Fubar. Yeah, the Donna's tune. You're just I just fucking love this song, and I was really happy to hear it in this moment. Pretty much that. And that's probably a supervisor
a favorite. It's I'm gonna place this song. A
lot
of times as music supervisors, you do that sometimes where you're you just got a few in your pocket. They're man, the right. I'm gonna pitch this because this is it.
Yeah, I love this song. Yeah. Yeah. What was the AC/DC song? Was it If You Want Blood or something like that? Was that
it's everywhere right now.
Yeah.
It's got to have 100 placements this year.
Yeah. Fucking great.
Yeah, and it's a great
Brian
song.
Johnson needs new ears. Come on.
By the way, Coming Down the Mountain, 1987.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
That is 36-year-old song.
Rock.
Yeah.
From Jane's Addiction.
Nirvana's classic rock now, dude.
I know.
I'm sad.
I know.
Fun is classic rock.
Stone Temple Pilots is classic rock now.
Yeah, but we've got enough cadavers in the wind on that era of music at this point, yeah, it's considered classic rock.
That's the thing. Is
that was
by the time we get to emo,
yeah.
Which, by the way, kids, your time is coming. Okay, all right. I'm a Fall Out Boy fan. I'm a Mike Hem fan.
Me too.
I'm a fan. I am a fan.
Yeah.
I love all of them. And by the way, I don't see those as emo, but they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
My point is because so few of those people have died. There's not this like, but all of those bands were together. They've been together for 25 years.
Yeah.
And gotten back together, have reunion tours, and fucking A, your time is coming when My Chemical Romance is going to be on the classic rock station, and your little millennial heart's going to break, and you're going to be like, God, I'm so old. Don't worry, your time's coming.
I saw this thing the other day. There was a video sent to me, and it's called Emo Flooring, and it was a guy like, this emo kid started his own flooring company, and it's this whole thing, and he sang the tagline, and it's all no's the whole time kind of thing going on. But the top comment that popped up was the one that like killed me. It was just the whole thing's like black hair, and do you want your floors black like your heart or white like the pills you take? So that was in the video, and then the top comment said floors that cut themselves.
Holy shit, that's funny.
I could not stop laughing. It is a fucking fantastic skit, and I don't know who made it, but it made me very happy. Look up emo flooring.
Yes, I'm gonna have to find that.
It's so good. But that was really, really, really wonderful. I enjoyed that.
That is awesome. All right, so there's your Sync of the Weeks. A little Haggar. We're going to call it Haggar in deference to Sammy on the ad stuff. And then from The Rookie, Coming Down the Mountain in 1987, a little Jane's Addiction. Why do I sound like a radio DJ right now? That's weird.
You sound like a strip club DJ.
Coming up after the break, Jane's Addiction, Coming Down the Mountain.
Coming up on stage 4,
we're going to take the 6th caller to win some tickets.
Win some tickets to Jane's Addiction.
And subscribe and leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts. Those are kind of taken off. We've got a bunch of 5 stars. Thank you. Really
That's awesome.
That.
Thank you for that.
Leave hilarious comments
Please
on there.
Please correct our Spanish.
Yeah, we might read it on the air. And again, thank you, Norway and Denmark. We're kicking ass there. I don't know if we're on the charts right now, but we appreciate it. And remember to rate and subscribe. And you can find us at 2ShotsMusicPod everywhere you find people. You can email us any of your music questions or any general questions on life or flooring or emo or pills or whatever you want. 2ShotsMusicPod at gmail.com. And until next time, we will see you soon. Speak to you later.
Bye.
Bye.